on how to work with cropping and sizing your images. So I'm taking two images of one of my favorite subjects, my cat. She's not going to be around for much longer, but I have one that's in landscape mode and one that's in portrait mode just to demonstrate that they're going to look different. Remember, landscape is the wider one, portrait is when you tilt the phone on its side or the camera on its side. So you can right click or control click and then basically open up those photos and it will automatically load each photo into Photoshop. And you'll notice this little, just a real quick primer. There's tools here. There's a lot of tools. And if you click and hold on the tool, you'll see that each tool has other tools that you can select. And that's just so that they don't have too many tools visually represented. They're kind of grouped together. We'll get to them in a little bit later. And depending on what tool you have, you also have a bar here that relates to the tool and gives you more settings for the tool. All the rest of it we're going to ignore for now. All we need is these tools and these photos. So the cropping tool is going to be this right here. And I'm going to start with the landscape one. And remember, that's your crop tool. And there's one thing that's kind of important that we're going to do here, and that's this. Let me make sure I got the whole thing. You'll notice that you automatically have some cropping tools to change the aspect ratio of your photo. And as you do, the rule of thirds lines, which we'll get to later, follow you because it's trying to help you compose or recompose the shot. However, and don't do that yet, we'll get to that later. However, you have some tools up here. I'm going to zoom in on it so you can see when you're in the crop tool. And it's these things right here. Right now, it's a ratio crop, which is keeping the photo with the original ratio of the shot. What we're asking you to do is change the crop to a 4:6, which is a 2/3 ratio. And once you do that, it will keep that ratio the same. And you can still shrink it, but at the end, you're going to have that 4:6 photo. Now you'll notice that I had a landscape photo, but the crop is now doing a portrait crop. If you want to keep it in landscape mode, you can flip the values like this. And so now I've got a 4:6 crop, which looks like it's very close to what the original one was. But I'm going to go run with that and you can also drag the photo within that crop. So I'm going to do that because I want as much of it as possible. I'm cutting off the bottom, which is fine. A lot of that is just carpet texture. So I'm going to click done, and then there's my new crop, and that shows me that it's a 4:6 crop. Same thing applies to this, although you'll notice now that I switched it to portrait, this is a ratio crop. So I'm going to flip this again to make it portrait mode, and then I'm going to crop it to kind of focus on the main elements of this photo. Maybe bring it down just a little to give a little more headroom and a little more room to that ear so that the photo is cropped well. The tie is along this line, right on the nose, and there's enough hand to kind of see the look that she's going to work. Again, when I'm done with that crop, I click done. And when we're done with both of these photos, when you're done cropping both of these photos, you can click out to a different tool like the Move tool, which is kind of a good default, and then take each tab and hit File, Export as or Save as. Either way, I like this one best because it helps you choose and be sure that you're choosing a JPEG format. And that's going to be my export for the landscape photo. And I'm going to replace the old one, which is fine. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to do the same thing. File, Export, Say As. And again, choose a JPEG. I always boost it up so it's the highest quality. We don't have any problem with space, and hit Replace. And then those two photos are properly cropped for the next step. Thank you.